Hey, what's good, fam? Welcome back to another Mind the Mic podcast. Here with a very special guest, one of Aotearoa's notable voices, most known voices, one of the most prolific voices I heard as a child, and a lot of my cousins that I grew up with did as well. He's an inspiration through obviously the band Nesian Mystic, but as he's gotten older, became bit of a legend in other spaces as well, for our people, for the Maori people, Pacifica people, but also an entrepreneur and the man himself, Te Awanui Reeder. Welcome, Kazi. No mai. How's
Thank you
things?
for having me, bro. Awesome. Yep. No, awesome.
Yeah, solid, solid, solid. Just wanted to obviously reach out to you, Kazi, and have a little jam on your journey through the growing up. So what was the young days of Awa like? How does Awa become the Awa he is today?
It's a long story.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but
Well, brought up in Tamaki Makaurau, born and bred there in central Auckland. Uh, went to primary school at Mount Albert Primary, and then the next step that most people did then was go to Kōwhai Intermediate, and then from Kōwhai went to Western Springs College or Ngā Puno Waiorea, and that's where I kind of not found music, but started to find my voice with it a bit more and connected with the boys. Uh, we started jamming, thanks to our awesome music teacher at the time, um, Margaret Roberts. She suggested for us to go into the smoke-free rock quest, which it was called at the time. People like Shea Fu and Kinkapisi and a few others had been through there. So we had a go, and we came nowhere. We we didn't even make it past the first heat, and that was quite a really valuable experience for us because it was a little bit embarrassing. And we knew we didn't want that to happen again. So we worked on our craft and practiced and wrote some songs and just got better, I think, all around. And had another go the following year, and we had done quite well. We won our regional, went to we qualified for both finals. So there was a Pacifica Beats, which was kind of more our communities, I guess, more hip hop and R&B, and then there was the Rock Quest, which we also qualified for, and they were more kind of heavy metal rock bands. Awesome though, and
Yeah.
so we had to go. We came third in the end in the Pacifica Beats final in Wellington.
Yeah. What was
Um,
that like us at that time? Like what I was a bit younger, so I didn't really remember. Like I
it was
remember
cool.
hearing about it, but were those quite huge at that time? Those rock
Yeah, I
quests.
think it was just exciting. We were just excited to do what we were doing. There were rangatahi from all around Aotearoa that were the best at what they did. Ria Hall was in there with a
Oh,
group from Tauranga Moana.
yeah.
Yeah, they were epic. Like they were epic bands. And even in the Rock Quest, which is more the kind of metal rock
Mm.
side to it, Evermore was there, and they were a
Oh,
massive band.
true.
They had a massive hit in the United States. We lost to them. So that was awesome experience for us. Kind of gave us a taste of the work ethic that you needed, and
Mm.
but also the joy of performing in front of an awesome crowd. So we did that. We kept going, performing at local festivals, wrote some songs that caught some attention of the people, signed a deal, and began an epic journey of music and writing and recording for the next kind of 15, 20 years. And yeah, it was incredible, bro.
Yeah, no, beautiful, brother. Uh, what's some of the? Do you have a moment that sticks out to you that was like the catalyst for like how it all ended up that way? Like, was there a point in time where you're like, oh, like, if I didn't do this, or if we didn't do this as a band or as a group, that might not have happened? Can you think of anything that like sticks out in
Mm,
your mind?
I can't think of anything that sticks out in my mind, but I at that point we were just having fun. I mean, it
Oh, okay.
was it was just exciting, and we wanted to keep the excitement going. And in order to do that, we needed to write songs and we needed to write hits. And so we worked our butts off and got some gear, learned how to use it, and learned the craft of songwriting and producing and engineering. And we were lucky we had each other to kind of keep us sane through that time. And it was just, we're so lucky, man. We got to travel the world, and they got paid really well, and had these incredible experiences. And all while, some of us were still studying at university, we're still working, we're still like in a traditional sense.
Yes.
So it was, we didn't have a weekend for like 10 years.
All right. Yeah, I think a lot of especially our people, especially over here, like in conversations that I have, corridors I have here with some of my breathers, I don't think they understood like how like you said, you were heavy in the books too, Kazi, that you're deep in it. Don't got
Yeah.
the cornflake certificate, you got the real one.
Yeah, but you're right, bro. And but at the same time, there's a lot of privilege that comes with that. And I was fortunate to have parents that both went to university as young Maoris did back then, coming from the country. They're coming from Tauranga, mum coming from Putararu, of all places, to the big smoke to study, to get teaching degrees, and to get and to follow that pathway. So I'm fortunate to have had that, and it was always a normal pathway for me to go. And then through university, I was lucky. My mum was a teacher, so this was back then when they had school certificate, and you had to qualify to go to university. But my mum said, and she gave me the heck. At the time, listen, she's not here anymore, but she basically said, look, if you can do really well in sixth form, you can go to university. You won't need to do seventh form. And I said, well, what? How come no one else told me this? And she said, she was a teacher at Western Springs College, and not while I was there, but she just goes, well, basically what you do is you study your butt off, get good marks, and by the end of the kind of first term, or second term, sorry, so you're halfway through the year, you go to the head administration and say, look, based on these marks, can you estimate whether I will get school, whether I will get UE or university entrance? Can I get in with these marks? And I had done all right. And they said, yeah, cool, you will get in. And so I used that to enroll in university. So I was already in before I set my sixth form exams, and unfortunately got a scholarship to do my degree. So so there was lots of things that fell my way that I'm not sure all of our people may have had at the time. I had knowledge. I had the ins.
Yeah,
and,
the mātauranga and
yeah,
the
and
support system, brother? The support system, because I think
bro.
that's what's lacking in a lot of things, for our
Bro.
whānau.
So, yeah, and so I'm, my success on that side, is I have to acknowledge that I'm privileged to have parents that did it, that could guide me, that that knew the pathway, because some of my cousins didn't, bro. And so and I get why they're not there. It's not it's not entirely their doing. It's because they couldn't see the pathway, and they didn't have anyone to guide them through it. So that's why I feel quite lucky.
Privilege for sure, my brother, but not in whakahihi way, because sometimes people say, oh, you're privileged, like that's a bad thing. You're just fortunate in that way, brother, that you could have parents that would tautoko you. How do you, like, if there's a rangatahi out there, or any young people out there that have come from not the same situation, but they do want to do the things that you've done in that space, how would you call it, or to them, how would you tell them, what kind of direction could you give them?
I think if they're already feeling like they want to do that, I think that's the start. I think they've got everything they need to, just with that feeling. The next thing is just to go for it, and to figure out what works for them. So a lot of people have a kōrero in terms of, do I need to go to university? Do I not need to? I don't think it's about whether you do or don't. I don't think anything's really binary in that sense, where you have to go, does this way work, or is it this way? I don't think that gives value to our people and our communities. I think really where we should be focusing that kōrero is around what works for you. as a learner.
Mm.
What works best for you? And it might be a hybrid. It might be university and being with uncle and auntie, on the weekends at the marae. Or it might be in a wānanga for a short course. Or it might be through YouTube, or it might be a
Hey,
combination of all of it,
that's the new university, Kazi. Yeah,
Right,
YouTube.
that's right.
All
That's
right.
right. It's not saying anything is better. It's really what works for you, and try all of it if you have the opportunity to. Like for me, university works because I'm in a space that is dedicated to learning, that I have expert teachers that have the experience, whether they've been successful or not, it doesn't matter, but they have the experience to guide us through. And you're around people that want to do better. So for me, it's about putting myself in an environment and within a community of people that want to do better. It doesn't
That
really
iron
matter
sharp.
what it's about. I could be med school. It could be learning to do pottery. It doesn't matter to me. But what I know is how I learn best is by having somebody who knows what they're talking about in front of me, showing me the pitfalls, showing me how to get through, that I know and I can connect with, not just across the screen, but tinana, kanohi, like in person. The energy is important to me. And then being around people that want to do better, that want to learn, that are striving and pursuing excellence. That's what I want to be around. So could I do it via YouTube? Maybe. And sometimes I do. But when I'm looking at learning things in terms of the long term that take a few years to learn, the best way for me, apart from practical and just doing it, is being in a school of learning. So that's what works for me. But I do short courses, I do YouTube, I do all of it too. But if I'm following something that is very significant, like any kind of civilization and throughout the world has had schools of learning where there have been experts in tohunga teaching them, then that seems to work for me. But if it doesn't work for you, that's all good. Find out what works for you.
I think that's cool, because where do you think that mindset comes from, that paradigm you have? Do you think that's from the artistic side, the fact that you have gone through the university journey and done well in that space, but you still also are open to the fact that that's not the only way? Do you think that, because I've spoken to a lot of higher learners, higher educated people that whanaungas and not over the years, and a lot of them that I've talked to are stern on, like, you got to go to uni. So like, where does that whakaaro come from? Because
that's a good question. I think it just comes from experiencing it. I don't think I've had great experiences in university, and I've had times where I've not wanted to be there. So, and that has led me to look at other pathways that where I can get my learning from. But I think the key thing is learning to learn. If you can learn to learn how best, whatever the way that is, then you can learn anything. You can pick up the skill, you can do the training, and then it won't matter what it is, but you need to figure out how you best learn. And you can only do that by trying different pathways. So, for example, here's a perfect example. I went to Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. Love that educational facility, and went to do Te Reo Maori there when I was kind of just beginning on the journey, and it was free. It was awesome, but I didn't value it that much because probably I wasn't paying for it, and that was just me.
Okay.
Whereas I was fortunate. One of my cousins was lecturing at Victoria University.
Cousin Vinny,
Cousin Vinny, yeah. And he kind of gave me a bit of a kick up the nono and said, bro, you need to hurry up and learn the reo. And I was in my 30s then, and I went back and studied for 5 years. And not that I'm tino matatau I nāne, but I'm a hell of a lot better than what I was. But I needed to have skin in the game in terms of I paid to go to university to learn my own language as a second language, which is an interesting situation too. But that's where it's different, whereas I could have learned not paying and doing it for free which was good too. I enjoyed that, but I just couldn't make all of the noho. They have heaps of noho, which are awesome, but I have tamariki and whānau, so it was a bit tricky for me.
Beautiful, brother. Thank you for sharing that little kōrero there. For anybody that wants to even just endeavor in business, and obviously we can open up the whole business kōrero. What would you say? Someone that's like, wow, I want to get into business, I got this idea. What's the first advice from Te Awanui Reeder? Or
I mean, to anyone wanting to do anything that they're passionate about and have the idea about, is just go for it. That is it. That is it. You can't business and being an entrepreneur and being a business owner and having staff is you know is not for the faint-hearted. But what I would suggest is that what I tell my children is that I call it the Trinity. There are only 3 ways to transform your income, right? Aside from just trying to wait for the promotion, right? And so that's own a business, buy shares, or Bitcoin, or coins, or whatever you want to do, and property. That is the only way. So knowing that, do what you love in terms of mahi, in terms of whatever that might be, but on the side, think of a business, try and start a business, buy shares because it's the easiest way to get into investing, and then hopefully at some point buy some property. And that's it. If you can, that's the capitalist game. And some may like it, some may not. For me, I'm neither here nor there about it. What I know is that this is just the society we operate in. So learn how to make your way through it. And at the moment, this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a capitalist society. So to get ahead, in terms of that side, then I would suggest that. But the only way to do it is have a go. Recommend going to uni, doing that if you can afford to, and if you have the time, and if you have the institutions around you, go and learn. Or else, if you know a great person in business, go and ask them whether they've done well or whether they haven't done well. Because actually, they'll probably learn more from their failures. I don't like that word, but if they haven't done well, then they'll have some good advice for you on what not to do. So so the knowledge, I think, is all there. You just have to have a go, and you'll figure it out. And honestly, it's hard, and it's lonely, and it's expensive, not just in terms of money, but also in terms of time. But if you can get through that, it will be, you have freedom. And that's really all we're looking for. It's freedom and peace of mind. And you'll keep your sanity. You won't ever have to rely on anyone again, because you can build a business.
Yes. Speaking of building businesses, what businesses have you built, and what businesses do you still have at the moment that you can quote it all on, brother?
Cool. So I have a record label, obviously, that I put my music through, both here and in Japan. And I have a design studio called Big River Creative. I have an awesome team. We do graphic design, UX design, a lot of videography. What else do we do? A little bit of research for the government agencies, bit of animation. So we do that, and that's cool. I really love that mahi. I also have a clothing label that does quite well. It's called Awa Hawaiki, and I started that basically because I wanted some premium, nice gear to wear every day, and which is what I'm wearing right now. This is one of the
the Awa Hawaiki.
Yeah, the samples that are coming out. This one's coming out around Matariki. So again, really,
what's the inspiration in that sample, Kazi?
I guess just
what's the around that?
For me, it's just about it's about connecting Aotearoa back to the Pacific. I think in terms of Aotearoa, and particularly in terms of Maori, we had to really stamp our identity, but in order to survive and, I guess, resist our colonizing whānau that were putting systems and policies in place that, to disenfranchise us a little bit. And so, my tamariki are Samoan, Maori, Japanese, and I wanted them to not feel like they had to be either Maori or Samoan, that they can just say, yeah, I'm Samoan, I'm Maori, whakapapa ta island, whatever. So just knowing that connection back to Te Moana Nui Akiwa, and also their tupuna come from Tahiti in terms of Te Arawa, they come from there. So I wanted them to always be proud of that. But they're not the only tamariki that are mixed whakapapa anyway. And also in terms of Maori, it's when you travel outside of Aotearoa to the Pacific, they already know, bro. They already know that we're part of the whānau. It's when we come here that for some reason Pasifika communities are separate from us. And it's not to say that we're the same, because we're not, but we are connected. And it's about celebrating the connections, but also acknowledging those differences and those nuances that make us our own unique community in terms of where we ended up settling. So if you go to Hawaii, they know who Maori are. When you go back to Tahiti, we performed at the Miss Tahiti pageant a few times, and the boys there would always be like, "Welcome home, bro." And it's true. It's true. So, he orite, i ngā reo katoa te moana nui a kiwa. You can see, he mahanga hononga i Wainganui. So, there's lots of connections there. And that's what this label is about. It's about connecting us, but also going, acknowledging those differences, those nuances between us, but also allowing our tauiwi whānau and our Pākehā whānau to come in and connect as well as part of their story of being an Aotearoa, or if they're in the Pacific too. So it's all about inclusivity, but doing that in a way that's not so loud. I'm not maybe this is my design side, but I'm not a massive fan of like really loud kakahu. And I'm pretty conservative and like pretty chill when it comes to it. So our label is quite, I guess, understated and quiet. It's what I call quiet design. So the good lines, well made, good materials. It's a premium experience when you're wearing our gear, which is probably why the price point is where it is. So it's not the cheapest gear, and you're not going to find loud pinks and oranges and blues and all of that in our kind of colorways. They're pretty along the lines of black, white, off-white, and like a stonewash black. So that's kind of where our lane is. But we obviously are speaking well to our communities because they really love it, and it goes really well. So we're fortunate now. We're all over Aotearoa. We're in Ahu Boutique. We're in Loaded in Auckland. We're about to be in Hapa in Christchurch. We're just talking about a deal in Australia at the moment. We're in Hawaii. So the aim is to have all of our pieces located throughout the Pacific. The only photographers I use are people that are from the islands and are from Aotearoa that live there. So our storytelling is authentic too. I love photography. I do lots of photography for us. So I'm always about good storytelling, good images, and being able to just communicate those messages in an authentic way. But again, not having to be loud about it. We know who we are. I don't need to walk in the room and start shouting that I'm Maori. Like, when I come in the room what is going to happen, and that's for all of our leaders. And so when people wear our gear, they don't need to shout, because people already know.
Yeah, hey, that's beautiful, Kazi. Thank you for sharing that corridor as well. I've listened to, obviously, growing up listening to your fellows' music. I think I noticed in a lot of your, I don't know if you wrote the words, but a lot of the kupu, and especially in like Lost in Translations, and then you talk a lot about Bastion Point, Springbok tours, like. Has
Lost
that
Vision.
been Lost Vision? Sorry, sorry, Lost Vision. I was lost in translation at that time. I just said it. It was 5 a.m. in the morning. My cousin Arawamai. But in that waiata, and you touch on things like Bastion Point, and every day when I see your stories, and then I see you post, Free Palestine. What does stuff like that? What do those co-poppers mean to you, Kazi? Or like, have you always been an advocate? Like, did you grow up around it? All of that stuff?
Yeah, I definitely grew up around it, but I think you just see injustice of communities, and it relates because we know that our people have been through that too and are still going through that. So I think it's only right that we advocate for our communities and for justice and for love and for truth. And for people to have their own tino rangatiratanga, or the ability for self-determination. So what's going on in Palestine at the moment is, and has been happening for 75 years, is terrible, and we should be upset about it, and we should be talking about it, and we should be trying to do everything we can to support those communities. And I just think it's only right that we do that.
Nah, beautiful, brother. Beautiful. You said you did grow up around. So did you go to some of these protests as a child?
Yeah, well, yeah, my family were quite involved during that time. Yeah, there was Ngā Tamatoa, there was, I guess, the Polynesian Panthers. There was
Yes.
lots happening around that time, especially for my parents working in central Auckland at the time, coming from the country. Um, you know, kind of staying at the Maori hostels, they were quite active, I guess, in that. And so, but being Maori, I guess we have to be political anyway because it's our survival on the line. As we can see, with the current
Mm,
government, it's there are some challenges there with ensuring that we have a voice, and
mm,
it's what we have to do because one, again, we know it's right. We know we need to try and build an Aotearoa in the world where all of our tamariki can just be who they are and they don't have to compromise that.
beautiful, brother. Before I let you go, because I know we only got a short amount of time, Aroha, my brother, I just got a couple of other
But you
questions
just keep
through as
going,
well.
bro. We'll just
Okay.
just keep
But
going. Just keep.
you're speaking on how things are at home for some of us cousins over here, over in Te Tahi Atu Wāhi, like all over the world. What do you say to them, cousin, for what's going on back home with our people in the changes in with the government and all those kinds of things? How can we maybe help and anything like that?
I think you just, for all of our whānau overseas, doing their thing, I think you just do the best you can. I think you just focus on being awesome and achieving for you and your family and whatever that might mean for you guys. And just knowing that you can come home at any point. That's really it. I don't think there's anything we can really do because we're doing it. I think our communities are doing it in terms of Māori Pasifika. I think the tricky thing is on the other side with some of our tauiwi and our whānau that tend to vote the other way. That's the tricky part because a lot of them have been educated in a system that has taught them that Maori gave up sovereignty, that we gave away our land, that we did all of these things. But that's not entirely their fault because that's just what they were taught. It's a narrative that has been perpetuated, and as a result of the many years of getting that, their bias and their opinion of Maori isn't a positive one. So it's not for us to teach them. That's for their own to do. That's for themselves to do. We just continue to demonstrate and be the example of what Aotearoa should be. And by learning te reo, by putting our children in kura kaupapa or kohanga reo and those kinds of things, if we're able to give and this is for everyone in Aotearoa, if we're able to give our tamariki, because really that's the next generation, they are the leaders. If we can give them that multi-lens view on the world that is embedded in Te Ao Māori in terms of being from Aotearoa and in Aotearoa, I think we're going to be okay because of the values that we carry, because that underpins everything that we do. So I think if we can do that, I think we'll be all right, and I think we'll create great humans that will lead our nation. That's probably the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
But for maybe our they call them boomers, but for our older whānau, a little bit older than me, the hard thing is to change their opinions already if we can't. So I would just say, it's not our job to teach them. That's their job. They're adults. They can go and read Te Tiriti o Waitangi. They can go and learn Te Reo Māori. They know what they can do. But the era they were born in has kind of enabled them. When they did degrees, bro, they were free. You could just go into university for nothing. You could buy a house with the wage that you were on. Now that can't happen, bro. It's very difficult to, for anyone in Aotearoa to buy a house. You need $1 million. That's what it
Yeah.
is, so whereas they've already got the assets and they've got the knowledge and they got it all for nothing, pretty much, whereas now it's very difficult to get into the property game. We're lucky. We're doing all right. We got a couple, but for most people I know, they're still renting.
Yeah. 100%. Take us back, cuz, to Nesian Mystic days. Have you got a funny story that maybe you haven't told or that you can tell though, for the people from all your touring and all your tippy high days with the crew? Anything you can think of that just like was a funny time or a funny moments or
Oh, every time is funny with the boys because we don't really take anything too seriously,
yeah,
So we're always joking around. So there's not really any time that in particular that's funny because
the whole
honestly,
time?
the whole time it's funny, bro. Like we still laugh till our pukus are sore, on the ground because we just have a humor that we all get,
Yeah,
and it hasn't changed. Like we were just in Australia, for jamming, and same thing happened. Like we caught up, and it was hilarious, and we had such a good time, and then that's it. It's like we turn 16, 17 again. It's like the time. Just like it hasn't changed, and I still feel that way, to be honest, most
yeah.
days when the body's not creaking and that kind of thing. But that's the beauty of friendship and music, and uh, we're very lucky to still have that.
Yeah,
That
and
bond.
beautiful that these fellas still are friends, cause a lot of bands here throughout time history, you know, not
Yeah,
here
yeah.
anymore, not
Oh,
friends
don't get me
anymore.
wrong. We've had challenging times too. We've had times where we haven't agreed with each other. We've had times where we've been pissed off with each other. But that's brotherhood, and
Aira.
it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be perfect. That's part of the ride, and that's part of us growing up. Is figuring out. Oh, sorry, bro. I was a bit of a dick,
Mhm.
or whatever it might be. And we've had many times where it's been like that. But the music brings us back together, and our love for each other brings us back together.
You spoke before about your record label and then having a spot in Japan as well. You fellas toured in Japan as well, eh, Kazi?
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
ways
yeah.
back in the days.
We had one of our albums hit the top 20 in Japan, and so we ended up being.
What's that like?
It was cool. It was cool. I'd never been to Japan before. I was super excited to go, and we toured all of Japan. It was incredible time. I love Japan, and ever since then, I continued to go back.
Oh, we
Uh,
know you love Japan. Oh, kefe. No, 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 no. Let's go, brother.
um,
That's
yeah,
it,
so
my man.
from that time, I just kept going back, and then I ended up being asked to write an album for a producer over there, and that went number one. And then from that, a major label hit me up and said, "Hey, Awa, can you do another album?" So I did another one called Stay Ready, and that went number one as well. I just invited all my mates who write really cool music to come and join me, and so that did really well. And I got my Irizumi is from there. My Japanese tattoo is from there by Horiyoshi, the legend. So I've got a real affinity with Japan. But yeah, my kids are Japanese as
Yeah,
well.
brother.
So it's beautiful.
Let's go. Um, that's cool, brother. Cool story. Cool to that. Yeah, because not many Pacifica, Maori, or anybody probably get to do that. Get to go and tour Japan. As top 20
Yeah,
or number one artist. That's pretty
it's
cool, man.
only our rugby players that really get
Later.
to, or our basketball players that get to go over and do that. But I'm working on something at the moment, which is it's pretty cool. So we're trying to produce Aotearoa's first anime feature film, and there's two other mates of mine, Jamie McCaskill, who's an award-winning Māori playwright, and
Hmm.
Brandon Temoananui, who's an incredible director. And so we came up with this idea, went to Japan, pitched it to the studios, and they all loved it. We chose one, and through working with that studio, a guy by the name of Atsuhiro Tomioka saw the script and was like, "Yo, I want to work with the boys." And if you've seen Yu-Gi-Oh, well, yeah, he wrote
Yeah, yeah,
that.
of
And
course.
if you've seen
Oh, true. Oh, yeah, the
Pokemon,
Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, of course.
Pokemon, yeah, well, he wrote Pokemon. And if you've seen Dragon Ball
Oh,
Z,
Rick.
yeah, he wrote that. So
Eesh.
he's a legend in terms of anime.
What the hell? How again? What's his name again, brother?
Atsuhiro Tomioka.
Say that, brother.
Atsuhiro
Hey.
Tomioka.
Mickey Doom,
Tomioka-san. So we actually brought him out to Aotearoa, bro. We flew him out from Japan, and he came and worked with us for a week here in Wellington, and we're just in the third revision of the script now. So we're very excited, bro. Like this will be it's an epic story based from Te Ao Maori, Te Ao Pasifika.
That's beautiful. And then
Yeah,
how
and
long? What are we looking at? When will we be seeing this?
we're a little bit away, bro. We're a little bit away because we need to. It's never been done before here. Eh? It's never been done
Yeah,
before. So we're trying to tread a path unwalked. So it's a bit tricky, but we're learning so much, and we got some pretty cool people involved. I can't say right now. I want to, but I can't. But it's once we hit the script finalized, we'll be away. But we're probably 80% there.
Hey, I heard to do a pilot or something. Is it like $250,000 or something like that? Like, or quite a bit of money?
Yes, to do any animation is very expensive, bro. So especially in terms of anime. So generally to do like 1 to 2 minutes is probably 200,000.
Chad, right? Yeah, where's all the money bags, cuzzies? Come on, total quarter, bro. Get it over the line.
Yeah. It's a bit tricky, man, but it's fun. Fun.
Is that what you's like? Is that part of the struggle at the moment? Is it pute or nah, Carl?
Pute is always a struggle in any business, but in particular with this, like to do a feature film, bro, it's probably about 10 mil US.
All right.
Which we don't have. So it's about it's about trying to find the right companies and people to total the kaupapa. But you need the products.
True that. No, there you go. Well, I look forward to it, cuzzy, whatever it's gonna be called, and sounds amazing, and I'm sure our people will get around it, and hopefully te ao katoa, the whole world gets around it, brother. It'll be on, hey. Just shout out to the bird again. I forgot his name already, but I'll watch it back and remember. Just a couple more questions, my cousin, and I'll let you go. If there's a young rangatahi that wants to get into the music scene today, like what do you tell? Like they're like, how do I do it? Like they got the gift of the gab, they got the voice or that kind of buzz. They can write their music. What do you say?
I think it's easier now than it's ever been. You've got all the tools there to help you either make the song, to mix the song, to put it out. You've got social media. You put it out for free. You don't have to do anything. So I think just go for it and figure it out and just write the best songs you can and understand that some songs, probably 80% of the songs you write won't be that great, but that's part of the learning. And just keep going. Just don't stop. It's we need you to be creative for the world. It's what makes the world a better place.
Yeah, let's go, brother. I got one from my sister actually. She wanted to slide this one in here. She said, if you can, obviously, hey yaha if you don't want to. How did you and Mumsy meet, brother? What's the love story there? Quick little.
Good question. I need to think on that.
I'll never mind. You don't get you in trouble, cuzzy.
No, you wouldn't. I'm just trying to make sure I get the story right. So
yeah, that's what I mean.
I have to come back to you on that.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll do that on the next one, Marcus. Next one. Top 3 musical influences in your life.
Oh, so many. Michael Jackson, number 1, I think. Who else was epic for me? I think Shei was really important for me.
Hey, same bro here too, eh?
Yeah, and same school too. He went to Western too. To see one of us from the hood, man, he's incredible, and he's the loveliest guy. Like we've learned so much from him, and he's the man.
Was it true? You seen him? Like, was he taking his brother to the school or something when you were younger?
Yeah. I saw him on the open day, and I was like, yo, I'm going to Western Springs.
That's me, eh?
Um,
Choose. Yeah.
yeah, no, he's the man. And so that's, Michael Jackson, Shefu.
You would have grabbed you know how in America when the youngster when the fellas choose what college they're gonna go to, they go put the port tie on, or when they choose what team, you know how to put on the Western Springs port tie. Yeah, me.
Well, we were mufti school, bro, so we didn't have a portai, but but I loved it. It was honestly, it was such a cool school. And still is, but yeah, I'm so glad I went there, bro. And then the other, I guess the other musician for me that was super. There was, I'm gonna name a couple. I know you said three. A Babyface for me is incredible influence. I mean, I love Boyz II Men, and he wrote their biggest songs, so he's incredible. Boyz II Men are incredible.
Yes.
And the other one I would probably say, other two is probably Craig David and Music Soul Child.
Those friends.
Just friends. Well, I wrote songs to that. I wrote Brothers, the Nesian song Brothers to Just Friends.
Oh, really?
Yep, I heard that when I was. I remember it. That whole album rocked me, bro. I remember shopping on High Street in Auckland at a place called the Bronx. It was called back then. It was like Urban West, and I walked in and I heard that song, and I was like, "Whoa, who is this? What is this?" And I think, I was 16. I think I was.
Far out.
And I went to the guy behind the counter, and he was a cool looking dude. He had an afro. He was stylish as, and he was like, "You haven't heard of this? This is Music Soul Child." And I remember going out that same day and buying the album, and it changed my career.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing, brother, because that's my top one, brother, from the old Nesians, brother, for sure. And a lot of the cousins that I grew up around.
You play that against Just Friends, it should probably ride all right.
Hey, Mickey, my brother. If you could only eat one kai for the rest of your life, one meal, what do you choose?
Far out, man. I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to kai, so that's not even a hard thing for me. I'd be quite happy with a cup of tea and a toast, bro. Honestly,
that's true.
I'm good with that, bro. A Vogel's toast with some butter, maybe some peanut butter and jam. I'm good. I'm all good. I could survive on that quite happily.
There you go, fun. We've had some interesting answers to that question. Yeah, that's cheap date, eh?
I'm all good.
Hey, just don't ask him when him and mum's had his first date, because you don't remember.
Low maintenance. I don't even need milk in my cup of tea, bro.
True.
Straight water, man.
Milk to D anyway. All right, Kazi, Lakers fan, eh? Or was that tickle?
I am a big Lakers fan.
All right, brother, I got one for you. And a Blues fan, of course. Auckland Blues.
I'm a Hurricanes fan now because I'm.
Hurricanes! Transformers!
When I was growing up, bro, I was Blues all day.
So back in days, that was it. Yeah. Oh, but okay, All Blacks then, of course.
Oh, yep, go on.
Okay, then start, bench, cut. Lakers, All Blacks, New Zealand Warriors, formerly Auckland Warriors. You got to start one, you got to bench one, you got to cut one.
Got to cut one. Oh man, wow, bro. I'm a big Warriors fan, so I'm starting.
Me too, Kazi. All day, brother.
Hey, I'm starting with the Wars. And I can cut the Lakers. That's all good. They've got their championships. They've done their thing. They're all good. They're all good. Right. And the bench is the ABs. But
not a bad bench, the old ABs.
So that's probably where I'm at the moment. But yeah, go the Wars. I think
very hard.
This is our year.
I know it's.
Let's go.
I know we're 2-0, but I think out of all the years, my cousin, I think we can do it. I think we can do it. They'll pull it together, my bro. That's what we say every year. But I don't know. I just feel every year, when it's like the first 2 games, then if they end up losing, it's gone. The season's gone in the head. But really, the faith is always there. I actually think they'll be all good from this, brother. And I'm like
hard.
you, my cousin. If the Warriors win one premiership, that's like 1,000
That's
World
all we
Cups for the
need.
All Blacks.
That's all we need.
One, cousin, one.
All we need.
Please. All right, my cousin. And last one, if you could have one superpower, what do you choose?
Oh, good question. I think if I could have a superpower, it would be to allow people to see the best in themselves. I think that would be it.
Right, I knew yours was gonna be like a uppy one. I knew yours was gonna be a uppy one. You just that guy, brother. You know.
If we get that right, I don't think we need superheroes. I think the world is okay, but people just need to see the best in themselves and the best in others, and then I think we're going to be all right.
Nah, beautiful, my brother. Well, thank you so much, my brother. Time is the most valuable commodity we have as human beings. Thank you for sharing your time with us, Kazi. I know we went over the time, but it's
good,
an honor,
Shubz. Don't do it again.
Okay, but hopefully this is the last time we catch up, my brother, and hopefully we even catch up in the flesh.
Yeah, hard out, bro. Hey, a pleasure, and thank you so much for having me on the show. And to everyone out there, I hope you have a wonderful day, and yeah, we'll see you again.
Thank you so much for watching this full episode of Mind the Mic. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to create these episodes. So to know that you've watched and listened to the entire thing means the world to myself and all our hosts. If you could, before you leave, please hit the subscribe button and share this episode out to as many people as possible. It would help us so much. Thank you again to everybody that's still here, still watching. Thank you for all your comments, all your shares, all the DMs. Appreciate you all. Make sure you follow us on every platform. Have an awesome morning. Have an awesome night, depending on where you are in the world. Mind the mic out.
Oi, have you hit the link in bio yet?
Watch full episodes on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all streaming platforms.